thank you everybody for being here this evening for this very, very important and special event. It is Dr. Tom Hudson's book launch of his brand new book, Something Deeper. If you could see it here, I'm holding up a print copy, which we're so excited about, 31 Spiritual Poems to Help You Navigate Life. And I'm April O'Leary, I'm his publisher. I'm so honored that each of you have chosen to be with us here this evening and take an hour of your time to hear about his writing and his publishing process and his new book, and to support him and congratulate him. You'll have a chance to do that personally the second half of this book launch party. And the first half is dedicated all about Tom and what he's done in this beautiful book. So welcome, sit back and enjoy this conversation, this interview, and know that we really appreciate you being here. And thank you, Tom, for trusting us to take you through this process of publishing. We are so honored to have worked with you and know that your book is going to reach far and wide. So welcome, everybody. Let's start off. If you want to say hi to everybody, Tom, and just take it all in and see everybody who's here on.
I've been scanning. I appreciate everybody coming. My goodness. And it's been great. It's been great connecting with everybody. I think I told you this earlier. Everybody once in their life should do a book launch, even if they don't write a book, because it's just so great to, reach out and reconnect. It isn't just having them on the book launch, it's the reconnecting, and it's just really been, nice is a big understatement.
Yeah. Well, Tom and I have been talking about this pre-order, pre-launch process and going through, and he's been sharing with me how much he's enjoyed connecting with each and every one of you, reaching out and phone calls and laughing and connecting with some who he hasn't talked to in many years, maybe. And, that's the beautiful thing about things like weddings and births of babies and book launches, is it's a time to get everybody together and to really recognize those huge milestones in life. And so this is one of the biggies. And Tom texted me when this was coming out and said, everything changes now. So I want to hear a little bit from Tom about the writing, and I want him to share with you about how he started writing these poems, which wasn't something that happened just a few months ago. This has been going on for many years. So talk to us a little bit about how you started writing spiritual poetry and what that process has been like for you.
I really started it years ago. It was never, that's the interesting thing about the book, is none of these writings were ever meant for anybody to see. I mean, I never meant it. It was just all my process. And for me, I found, excuse me, when I slow down, when I write and I have to slow down and actually write the words and take pen to paper, it slows my mind down. So I can think about things in a deeper way than just the race car going all the time, which it is for most of us. And yeah, I just discovered, some profound things. I mean, it really started 25, 30 years ago, something like somebody at church suggested to me to write down my prayers. They gave me a book and it said, hey, why don't you write down your prayers? It was a little bit more in detail than that, but that's what I got out of it. And I started doing that, and it was, I don't know, we could talk the whole time about that, but I mean, literally it was life-changing to actually write them down, and just some of the insights and just how that came about. And it was always, I don't know, it was always a personal growth time for me. It was just a meditation time, just to sort of contemplate life. It always enlarged my perspective. Again, as I just, it was all for me. And then, over time, I would see maybe somebody else I knew maybe going through something that I had just gone through, or thinking the same thing or whatever. And I took a chance and shared one of them, and found that it really was meaningful to them. They felt what I felt. And then, so it was sort of the first inkling that, wow, what I write really can affect, other people. It isn't just me. And so that was the start of it. Over time, that just sort of snowballed over time, slowly. And I would send out to more friends and family, more people. And I always got positive reinforcement. but I still never thought, I mean, I might have thought about a book someday. A lot of the technologists at we had a Bible study at our imaging center a long time ago, and they would encourage, they were just sure I was going to write a book someday. And they even had a title. And I just said, well, someday's good. But I never really kind of did. I mean, I did another book previously, but it was a medical book. It wasn't this, but this was the kind of book I always wanted to write, honestly, just sort of from the heart, without footnotes, without, index, without that kind of thing. So that's just how it evolved. And finally, I think I wrote one, I don't know, 6 months ago, maybe 8 months ago, and I sent it to a few people. And I just got such positive feedback, including one that says you have to publish these with like 4 exclamation points. So it just seemed to really hit home that maybe now's the time. So that's how it really came about. But it's just interesting that it wasn't ever really meant for anybody. And it's just they're deeper than musings, but, my reflections on life. And it's helped me develop the theory that we're all having the same human experience, but it just looks different on the surface. We all have heartache, we all have joys, we all have disappointments. How do you handle that? I mean, a lot of my writing, I'm just asking questions. It's like, hey, what's up with this? Like almost literally. And then it just sort of deepens from there. So that's how it came about.
So it's beautiful. And you've got people commenting here, and yes, we will have him read one of his poems if you're agreeable to that. There's so many good ones, and I hate to put you on the spot like that, but just to share with the depth of what he's actually put in the book, I think is astounding. I'll speak from my perspective as someone who sees a lot of types of manuscripts, all the way from great to needs a lot of work. And when Tom reached out to us and sent us some sample writings, Heather, the head editor here who's on tonight, and I were just absolutely blown away by the depth of his writing and by what insight he brought and how we felt when we read his poetry. And so, Heather, do you want to share a little bit about what your work was like with Tom and how you took the poetry initially and some of that editorial?
Absolutely. I'm so excited. I'm so congratulations, Tom. You worked so hard on this. And
Thanks,
I think back to that first meeting that we had, right, which you wrote, day 29 is graduation day, is about the day that the 3 of us met. And I still remember that day very vividly because we really came up with a bunch of ideas, right? That day we decided this is going to be like a daily reader. They could read one a month, and they could start over again. So we really dove in that first day. And I really appreciated the depth, Tom, that you bring to this and the fun at the same time. And we worked together pretty intensely for quite a few months and went through a lot of iterations. And Tom has a very definite idea about how he wanted them to come out. And so we did some negotiating about how they were laid out, the line length, because he really wanted it to have a certain appearance, which it's beautiful. When you open the book and you see it, it came out so great. But we had some fun negotiations on that, didn't we?
Yeah.
But we spent quite a few months just going back in and really, what are the right words and what's the right order of these poems? Because these poems are so meaningful of important times in your life from years ago or from just the other day, right? Yeah. So we were really trying to figure out how we would lay them out. But we had a lot of fun, didn't we?
Yeah, it was.
We both knew as we were working together what the goal was, and we just kept working until we got to the point where it was. And we had to delay the launch. We were going to come out in October, and now we're coming out in November because we wanted it to be the right book. And Tom really honored what the book wanted to be, and I really appreciated that. So we had a lot of fun working on it together. We got to know each other well.
Yes, we did. And I will say, when I came to you with the manuscript, I mean, it was only about 2/3 finished, actually. There's 31 of them. I might have had 25 or something. So it wasn't totally finished, but I would say, and a lot of the day that I met you guys, the day that I made the appointment, was a writing. The day that I met with you guys was a writing about what my experience was that day. But beyond that, the editing process is always interesting, right? It's a dance, and so when do I have it how I want it, and when is your idea a better idea? It's not always clear. But I will say a lot of them, you really push me to make it better. Like I would say something, you go, really? Is that really true? Or or even, this is a bit rambling, and I would read it and go, oh, she's right. So some of them, the last half got completely rewritten, all, because of your comments. And then because I sort of knew what you were going for. And then as I was writing it, I went, oh yeah, this is what she's talking about. So it really, I guess it's the greatest compliment an author can give to the editor publisher, is that you really made it better. I thought it was good when I brought it. You guys obviously did, because you accepted it, but the end product was really better, I guess, as all collaborations are.
Yeah, well, thank you for that, because that's really what it is. It's like 1 + 1 is 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what you could do or what I could do, but what we can do together with it, because you're willing to be open and because I could push you. And Tom's a really quick study, right? Like once I started showing you a few things, you just ran with it, and it was so beautiful. And it really evolved, because then you have a quote, you have a title for each one with a subtitle for each of the poems. You have a quote at the end, right? And we had a lot of fun playing with those. And then at the very end, he has a reflection or an exercise for every poem that you can do. So it's such an interactive book that's going to allow you to go into the depths of who you are, right? Because I truly believe the most important thing we can ever do is to know ourselves, right? And this is a process of what you've done over all these years, knowing yourself through these poems and inviting all the rest of us to do that as well. And so I really think that you're all going to really enjoy being able to find out more about your own self and life through these poems. And Tom packed it with just so many different pieces that it's really, I love it. I really, really love it. And I loved working with you. And I'm excited for the next ones.
Thanks. I have a few ideas already.
Well, I have to acknowledge someone very special on the Zoom right now, who has really just found out what a big role she played in the design of this book. And she has chatted in, and I would love for Tom to show the cover of his book, or I can share my screen and talk a little bit about the cover design and Abigail and what she was able to do.
So this is the cover, and I'll just read this is from a paragraph in the beginning it's called About the Cover. So this is pretty much the story. As I thought about the cover for something deeper, I had a certain look in mind. On a whim, I shared my idea with Abigail, the 10-year-old daughter of a close friend. Abigail is creative and quite intuitive, and I had the feeling she would get my vision. I thought I could use what she created to give the cover designers an idea of what I wanted. Well, to my surprise, she came up with a beautiful painting that captured exactly what I had envisioned. The final cover is her painting with a few minor tweaks. So thank you, Abigail. You are more talented than you know. And this is so this is the book, but this is her actual painting. So we never figured out what that thing was in the middle, but really there were honestly very few tweaks to make this the final cover.
Okay.
So it
was a person.
There she is. And she didn't know, right? You didn't know that this was going to be the cover, right?
No, I did not.
Feeling about it, that your artwork is on the cover of a book.
What do you think about that? Are you speechless for once?
And everybody
nothing to say.
loves the cover. They love I've gotten so many positive comments. I think it's magical. And honestly, I think the story that Abigail, that you did it just sort of adds to the depth of the book for me.
My mom is crying right now. I guess I'm famous.
Yeah. I guess you are.
Well, you'll have to bring a copy of that to school and show your art teacher if you have one of your teachers.
No way.
So my art is now on the cover of a published book.
I think I'm definitely gonna get into my dream middle school.
So that's really beautiful. We had so much fun working with your painting and coming up with ideas on how to do it. And you were really such a huge inspiration to
Oh my
the
gosh, thanks.
unbelievable. I would love to share my screen and just show it if I could for a second here. So I have it. I know Tom was showing it here. So there's the actual painting. Beautiful, great job. You are quite the artist. And the final cover here is really all representative of what was done. So I want to show also the back cover here. We've got really nice sharp headshot there of Dr. Tom. And do you want to read that back cover copy? Tom,
Oh, from the beginning?
from the back cover here? Mhm,
From the
yeah.
top. Okay. In our fast-paced world, we often overlook our deeper connection to the universe, each other, and ourselves. Something deeper is a compelling journey into the very heart of existence, unveiling the mysteries hidden in the ordinary. Dr. Tom Hudson leads you on a quest to discover the spiritual essence in everyday life, challenging you to see beyond the surface to the grand adventure that lies beneath. Through 31 reflections, one for each day of the month, you'll learn to perceive the world in a more profound way. You know, I guess I could actually do that a little bit easier on my book here. In a profound, tapping into the awe, wonder, and gratitude that reside within us all. More than a collection of poems, something deeper is an invitation to embrace the spiritual practice of daily life, experience the interconnectedness of all things, awaken to the beauty and depth present in every moment. Something deeper challenges the division between the material and non-material realms, calling us to remember the deep, the mysterious, and the miraculous in everyday moments.
Isn't that beautiful? So that's just, it really is such a profound book. I got my copies in the mail the other day and I sat down and I love to get a cup of coffee in the afternoon. And I'm like, I'm going to sit down and start reading this again. And by day 2, I was crying. And I've read it before. And I showed my husband, I had him read day 2 and he started crying. So your heart will be bursting open wide. You'll find tears coming to the surface. You'll find so many feelings that are come through the poetry that is just so magical. I would love for you to show, if you could, the 3D nature of your poetry and talk a little about that as well, because it's very unique. This book has so much visual appeal. It's like Tom didn't leave any detail overlooked.
Yeah, this is how they look. Each one is in a different kind of, I don't know what you would call them, shape, you know, rectangles, triangles. There's so it made it, I just, people ask me why I do that. And I say, I don't know. It just sort of fell into doing that. And I just remember my mom always told me I always liked puzzles, and it's kind of like Tetris. I was never a big video game person, but it's kind of like Tetris. So it's not only the writing, but it's trying to fit the words into a certain shape that's pleasant looking. And which is, we ran into trouble when we finally had the proofreading editing, because it's completely different. None of us, we were all like stuck. Oh, this is, you can't edit this like a, you know, like a prose paragraph. So, and before then, honestly, I never thought about it. It's just sort of what I fell into doing. It evolved over some years. And I don't know, it just makes it all more playful for me. I don't know how to explain it other than that. You know, when it's a pleasant shape and you fit the words into a shape, I don't know, it adds a playfulness to me. And it's just endlessly fun doing it. Even though I realized that once we started the editing process, I'm like, oh my God, this is taken 3 times as long. Because yes, Heather, it sounds better when you say it that way, but it looks dumb on the page. You know, I mean, how many times do we say that? And so you just have to find the right wording that fits the shape or change the shape.
And Tom, you really opened, right? Like you were a little more narrow in what you wanted in the beginning, and you really opened and saw new things throughout the process. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about writing a book, right? It changes us and we evolve when we grow as we're writing the book. And you really took to that. So thank you for being open to that process.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, once you write things a certain way for so long, it just looks normal. And things that you would suggest, I would go, well, that's odd. I don't know that I like that. And then I would find that 24 hours later, I thought about it differently. You know, so I sort of made a rule. Well, okay, it kind of sounds dumb. I don't know if I like that. And then 24 hours later, it's like, oh, that's a good idea. So you really helped me with that, you know, a lot. So then I could see what you were going for, and I liked it. So I could more easily fit the rest of it, you know, to look similar.
It's really beautiful to see how a book can evolve and how we can evolve along with it. It's really a magical process, and I'm grateful that we got to do it with you.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I always say publishing a book is a, what did I say in the last thing I wrote? It's a personal growth process, cleverly disguised as publishing a book.
It's very true. You know, like April and I often feel like we are therapists. I mean, you didn't need a therapist, but many authors, it is.
Oh, yeah, no, I needed a therapist.
But I mean, it's a deep dive. It's just like your title. It's a deep dive into who you are. And it comes up against all these things, even as much spiritual work as you've done. So it's a very deep therapy to write a book. And, you know, I'd be curious to hear from your wife a little bit from in the background, what you experienced throughout this whole process that maybe we didn't see or no one else saw. Can you give us a little bit of what was it like to be home living with him through this whole thing?
No, she can't shed any light on that.
You're overruled, Tom.
Again, the editor overrules me again. Go ahead.
Unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Tom set it up so you can't unmute. No, you're still muted, huh?
I'll unmute you. Well, I'll ask her to unmute and see if that pops it up for you.
Mute, there it is.
Oh, yay. All
There
right.
it is.
Okay, so start over.
So it was a very interesting process because I could see what he was going through. And that the interesting part is I didn't really get to see much of the book at all. Well, any of the book at all, except for snippets he would show me. And Heather, by the way, those things that he waited 24 hours on, he would run them by me. And I go, oh yeah, that sounds great. He's like, serious.
She always agreed with you.
Right. But I could just see, like you were saying, I could see him expanding as he went farther through this. And then sometimes it would be like way too much and he'd, back up a little bit. But I don't know. I think all in all, it was a beautiful process. And what happened is a beautiful outcome. The book, I saw it for the first time today. I got my copy today, and it was just beautiful and magical. I started reading. I'm on maybe day 3 or 4, and we're April, like you. There's a couple of them that, yes, I was like, and they were even about our experiences, but I could feel what he was trying to explain or to display. And it was, I don't know, a beautiful job. And I'm very, very happy and proud.
Well, thank you for your support at home, right? The spouse doesn't often get enough credit for what they go through.
Well, he's good about that. I will give him 100% credit on that. He is very good about being appreciative, and he did express that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, I don't want to keep everybody waiting much longer to hear some of this poetry that we are just raving about. So if you would give us the pleasure of reading something that just feels intuitively right to read in this moment, we would love.
Let's see. Okay, you know what? I will read this. Fits No Place Like Home. This is page 87. And this is about, well, I'll just read it. Because I live on a golf course in Naples. And as I put in some of it, I don't play golf, but I just love the natural beauty. I'm a real nature person. So that's the background. So it's called No Place Like Home, because you never know what you might find right outside your front door. I saw the trees today on my bike ride up to the clubhouse. I really saw the trees as if for the first time. I see them all the time, of course, but today I really noticed them. And they seemed more like friends than they did mere landscaping, especially the oaks that stretch their branches far above me to mingle with their leafy neighbors across the street. They're beautiful, even majestic. It was a cascade of green quietly escorting me to the clubhouse. And not just green, but vibrant yellows, reds, and more, all blending into a beautiful tapestry on this most beautiful of mornings. It was alive and breathing in its own way, and it seemed so delighted to see me, or maybe delighted that I saw it. I was here when the oaks were planted all those years ago, when they were saplings then, yet definitely more like landscaping. But now, after all this time, they're sturdy adults. I knew them in their infancy, and I could say I watched them grow, but I asked myself, did I really watch them? Did I really pay attention or appreciate them? It struck me that they'll be here long after I'm gone. And though that might sound melancholy, it really wasn't. It was more like a circle of life type feeling, like all is as it should be. There's something about living plants that feeds the human soul. And though we tend to forget, we are designed to coexist with them. Not only are they calming and nurturing, but also life-giving, since they provide the very air we breathe. And we're surrounded by them here. I noticed how the oaks blend seamlessly with the other flora, some of whose names I know, most of which I don't. But no matter, if they could speak, I'm certain they'd rather be appreciated than called by name. How many times, I can still feel this, and I wrote this and read it, I don't know how many times. How many times had I passed this way over the years, my mind in 1,000 different places, worrying about this or that, and not fully present with the stunning beauty that lies right outside my door. I've always appreciated the natural beauty here, but not like this. As I look back now, I realized it was often just a cursory nod from a mind largely preoccupied with something else, which is kind of like saying, yes, the Mona Lisa is a nice painting, but I really have to get to the grocery store before it closes. But today I saw more deeply, and I realized that it was always here for me if I had taken the time to notice. It dawned on me that the drive from the gatehouse to my home might be the most beautiful stretch of road in all of Naples. And I admonished myself for driving it back and forth for 30 years before ever having that thought. But admonishment is never appropriate, I reminded myself. We can only function at our level of awareness at the present time. No one should require more of themselves than that. I'm just glad that my awareness got a little deeper this morning on this ride to the clubhouse I've made hundreds of times. And I'm grateful for it because my life just got richer without having to actually go anywhere. We truly live in a visual oasis. And when you add in the symphony of the birds and the small furry creatures scurrying about, the wonder of it only deepens. The oasis has greeted me every morning for years, but what I realized this morning was my life is a lot richer when I greet it back. There are lots of beautiful and interesting places in the world, but for those of us fortunate enough to live here, there truly is no place like home.
Beautiful. Well, I can't top that. Oh, is a time when so many of you who, are from far and wide and, it's very late and we appreciate you staying up so late to be on this, get a chance to talk to Tom and tell him maybe a funny story about him or congratulate him on the book or thank him for something, anything that's on your heart that you'd like to share. And since we have a large group, if you can click raise hand and you can see that on the bottom on your menu bar, and then I'll just call on you that way everyone's not tripping over each other. It usually works best.
If my high school friends have any stories, they're not true.
We're gonna believe everything. If you're on everything you say. So we've got Gregory. Go ahead, Gregory. And you have to unmute yourself so we can hear you.
He's not unmuted.
And it's on the bottom left corner.
Did I
Yes,
get it?
Ireland.
You got it. Hi.
Not a technologically sound guy. My class usually takes care of all my technology. Hey, Tom, really,
Hey, Greg.
I encourage you that you would put this in a book, and the ones you sent me were such a blessing to me personally, that I know that they would bless everyone. And gosh, it's good to see you and Lana. It's been a long time, my friend.
It's good to see you. One of the ones that's in there is from when Greg called me and we hadn't talked for, I don't know, decades. You know, it was just such a beautiful thing. And the writing is in the book for after he called me and we talked, and it was beautiful. So we've spoken, but this is the first I've actually seen him. And
Yeah,
we were like best friends from high school, and then a couple of years after, before he moved out of town. So thanks, great to see you.
Great to see you guys, and again, congratulations.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just awesome, friend.
What about Cindy? Would you like to unmute Cindy? You have to unmute yourself.
Okay. I don't know Tom at all, except that I'm a thermographer, and Dr. Tom writes reports for me. And so I see his name on all kinds of things. And when this came through on our monthly newsletter, I was like, oh, I have to be part of this, because I want to know more about the person who's writing these reports. And it's really, really interesting to see like the dichotomy of what you do, life. But I don't want to take too much time, but I just want to say thank you for sharing this with us. And I'm glad that we were notified that this was coming out. So I look forward to it. Is it going to be on Audible?
That's yet to be determined.
I would love to hear it read in your voice.
Oh,
that's a
thanks.
suggestion. Thank you, Cindy. Glad
Thank
you're
you.
evening. I've got a gentleman whose name is iPad.
Well, that would be Tom's brother-in-law, Tony Buttrick. I've known Tom for longer than I can count, and Tom and I talked about this book a lot. And you know, I've met a lot of people in my life who say someday I'm going to do this and someday I'm going to do that, and you know, someday for most people is just code for never. But Tom said, I'm going to write this book, and he shared these with my wife, Anne Marie, and I over the years. And each time we would receive one in an email, we would say, you know, dude, you got to put these in a book. And I'm really proud the fact that he did it after saying, you know what, I'm going to do it. So here's to you, Tom. Thanks for following through.
Thanks, Tony. Love you. I've known Tony since he was, what, 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stole a lot of date nights.
Yeah, he did.
Amazing. All right, Elizabeth, you're up next.
I just want to say, oh my goodness. Like, he actually made a book with my art on it. And as soon as, I love the poem, and I was the one who commented. I got a little bit teary-eyed. It's good. It's a
Great.
good
That's
poem.
good. Thanks, Abigail.
I love it.
Thank you so much. Christy, you're next.
Hi. I don't know if you can see me.
We can't see you, but we can hear you.
There we go. Okay. Hi.
Hi, Christy.
Hi, how are you? I just want to say congratulations, and obviously happy National Technologist Week. Today is a big week for radiology, so it's a big thing for us. And I honor you, and I think you're such a great person. You're a phenomenal physician, And we really respect you at Unified, and your professional work, and just, you know, you as a person. You're phenomenal. So we love what you do for us. And thank you. We need more people like you in this world. So
Thanks, Christy.
really do.
Thank you, Christy. All right, we have two Debbies, but we'll do Debbie Hazelton first, and then Debbie number 2 can go second.
Hello. Nice to get to put a voice with you, April. Nice to say hello to and all of you at O'Leary, and nice to get to say hi to Lana tonight. And Tom, I'm so proud of you, and that poem that you read, oh, that was so touching. It was beautiful. And what was even just as touching is the emotion in you that is always so alive with your sharing. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate you. And I'm just so excited to be here. This is really a wonderful time. So many congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Debbie number 2, you're up.
Actually, it's me I'm Dan. I've known Tommy, gosh, since we were 11 years old in Boys Club together. And he's one of a group of friends that I try to stay in touch with. And I've kind of lost touch with Tom because of his schedule and his working. But I was thrilled to get a phone call and was just amazed that he has written another book. I know what Tom was like in school. I won't tell one of the stories.
Thanks.
There are them.
Don't tell any of the stories.
Okay. We'll save those for later. But I knew that you had talent, but you've shown that you have a deeper talent in yourself than I even realized. I always knew that you had talent and stuff, although you've always been a pretty humble guy. You've never been one to flaunt your abilities in front of other people, and you just always have done that. Just kept it within yourself. And I'm just really glad to see that you've been able to efficiently express yourself in a way that now not only you can have those thoughts, but we can also have those thoughts with you. And I have one other thing to say, and that's, Lana, you are still as beautiful as you always have been.
Oh, thank you, Dan. Thank you. I hope we get to see you guys sometime soon.
I wanted to see you, Lana.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi.
Hi.
So good to see you.
Really good to see you guys. Thanks for writing the book, Tom. I can't wait
Thanks,
to
Debbie. We spent like 2 hours the other day retelling high school stories and just laughing. Oh my gosh. It was so great. I'm still laughing. So thanks for not telling them. We'll keep those between ourselves.
All right, we've got Georgie. Is that how you say it?
Yes, correct. Or Gotze. That's my nickname from the Center for Mind Body Medicine, from where I get to know my dearest friend and colleague Tom and some of his family members. I'm so happy to see you all.
Yeah.
It's been quite a while that we haven't been together, but I can recall right now in front of it's popping up in front of me, 2010 October professional training program at Crystal City near Washington, DC. It was 2 months after my wife was still at the hospital. 1st of August 2010, she has survived severe stroke at her 50. She was 50 years old at that time. And she was in coma, but thanks God, she has survived. She went through. And I was invited to participate to the training, even though my wife was still in the hospital. And I remember this so human being, Tom, brought such a nice book to me about the neuroplasticity of the brain.
Mm.
And that was the so important book, what wake up me and how it could help to my wife to improve in her mobility. And she did. She got back her driving license. She's so self-independent now. Thanks God to these friends, to this family. I'm so happy of that. And I cannot wait actually to have this book in my hands, Tom. I can feel your compassion, your humanity radiates through this book. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you.
Thanks, Gotse. And thanks for mentioning that. You know, I was new to the faculty, and it was a listserv. It was to all the faculty. And I had this sense when he said what had happened to his wife, that I just read this book about neuroplasticity, about how medically speaking, you have a stroke, the brain's dead, that's it. But in reality, the brain remodels, so that's not it. But it wasn't conventional wisdom. So I really struggled. Gosh, do I send this out? Is this just overstepping? I don't know most of these people, you know, and so I took a chance and sent it out. So to know that you remember that, oh my gosh, 13 years later, wow. You know, what a good lesson that when you get a feeling like that, like, hey, maybe I ought to run this cover by Abigail, that it's a good idea to follow through on those. So that means a lot that the book meant that much to you after all this time. Thanks.
Thank you, Anna.
Brittany, you are next.
Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I also have never met Dr. Hudson. He reads for us. So when I talked to him the other day and he was telling me about his Zoom meeting, I was like, oh, I definitely have to join and learn more about his book and everything. And I just want to say congratulations. And I hope that, you know, it's a great success.
Thanks, Brittany. It's great to see you. I know Brittany very well, but I don't know what she looks like. So thanks for signing on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for inviting me.
We've got next up is someone who actually got to pre-read the book and gave an advanced praise quote, which we're so grateful for. Akia, would you be willing to unmute now? And if you'd like.
Good evening, Tom. And
hi,
this
Akia.
is so inspiring. Lana, you look beautiful as always. You're absolutely gorgeous, always drop dead gorgeous. And I can't remember how I actually met Tom. I remember him coming to my office and I remember him talking. And Tom was so long-winded. And I had a message to give Tom. And it was like, Tom, you have this special gift you need to share with the world. And he stopped mid-sentence. And I said, I need to teach you how to use some of these gifts you have. And he said, okay, and went back to talking. So that was my first experience with Tom. And I have to say, I'm so proud from his first book where he really was nervous about his profession, where he had to talk about things that were alternative to his medical practice. And he was very nervous about putting that book out. And I'm so proud of him for doing that one. And now just sharing his heart with the rest of the world and letting us all see and bring us into that level of spiritual awareness that he's bringing us all into. I just have to say kudos to you, Tom. I'm so proud of you. I've watched your journey for over 10 years now. It has been absolutely amazing. And thank you for stepping up and standing up with your gifts and encouraging the rest of us to do so. Thank you so much, Tom.
Thanks, Akia.
I would love to read what she wrote. Would that be okay with you, Akia?
Yes, go right ahead.
So in the front of the book, you'll notice when you get it that there's a number of advanced praise quotes, and these are people who we reached out to in advance and gave them a preview of what was to come. And she took her time to read it and send us in one. And she says, something deeper is a captivating and spiritually enlightening book that takes readers on a transformative journey of self-reflection. With its evocative prose and thought-provoking themes, each daily entry provides a profound exploration of human emotions, spirituality, and the complexities of life. The book's well-structured format allows for a mindful and intentional reading experience, making it an ideal companion for personal reflection and meditation. Something Deeper serves as an invaluable resource for individuals seeking solace, inspiration, and a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. Such a high compliment. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And listening to everything everyone's saying, I'm going to end the year, the month of December. I'm going to read the 31 days and then start the year in January and read the 31 days again for that month.
Wow.
So that's going to be my exercise, and I'll probably be sending Tom a little text in between to say, hey, I did this day. This is what I received.
Please do.
So,
That would be fantastic.
yeah. So I'm ending the year and starting the year with your book, Tom. I'm waiting for my
Because
autograph.
they're
copy.
meant,
It hasn't come yet.
they're meant to be read slowly, honestly, and reread. So
And digest them. Yes.
yeah.
Thank you.
You just gave me an idea. I'm thinking we're going to do a December reading challenge. So
Okay.
Dr. Tom is an Instagram now. So if you're on Instagram, you can follow him at Thomas Hudson, MD. And in December, we'll post every day something from the days. And you can have the book and you can follow along. I think that would be a fun community activity.
That would be fun. Great.
Yeah. All right. We've got Zoom user. Who is Zoom user?
I think that's me. I try to change my name. My name is Destiny. So, hi, Dr. Hudson.
Hi, Destiny.
I am a mammotech that works at Unified. That's how I know Dr. Hudson. He reads a lot for our mammograms. That's my son. I'm so sorry. Hi, baby. Say hi. That's my son. So I just wanted to say congratulations. I just wanted to come on, and to support you and say hello. And I'm so proud of you. I love your books. I love the talks that we have. You're so helpful. You're so insightful. And I'm just so happy to finally put a face to a name and finally meet you. And I just want to say thank you.
Thanks, Destiny. It's good to finally see you too.
So great. Thank you for being on. Trent, you're next.
Oh, okay. Finally, I was waiting a while. Hey, Uncle Tom. For you guys that don't know, I am Aunt Lana and Uncle Tom's nephew. I just want to say congratulations. I know how much this book means to you and how much you've worked on it over the years. And I've been one of the people to be able to witness a little bit of that hard work. So you inspire me, even if you don't know that. So I wanted you to know that. And you said to share a story. So when I was in high school, I moved down to Naples to chase this crazy basketball dream of mine. And they were the people that, took me in to live with them. And they treated me like their own from the very day one. And I love you guys so much. And I'm so proud to call you my uncle and my aunt, of course. But I'm so happy for you. And I hope this book is a huge success, and I can't wait to read it.
Thanks, Trent. We love you too.
We can't wait to see you next week in Scotland.
Yes.
Trent plays professional basketball in Scotland.
Oh.
So he's up way late.
Yeah.
This is late.
But it's well worth it.
Thank you so much. Joanne?
No.
Okay. Hey, this is Blunt, my husband.
Hello.
We were friends back. Hi, everybody in Germany. And I think what really has struck me about the whole process is Tom and Lana both. I saw a book in you that many years ago because you are already a living testimony of work being done in your soul. And one of the things that I recognized is that you as you began to evolve. And I did read his first book, which for me was way over my pay grade. This one is much more in my genre. I founded a ministry, so I'm involved in an author myself and had the privilege of reviewing the book. But back to what I saw was an evolution of someone who grew spiritually, but a man definitely humble. And every now and then he would send me excerpts from the first book or an email, or I was so humbled to see, I guess, the metamorphosis. And so congratulations. We are both thrilled. Blunt hasn't read it, but looking forward to it. I would say this and just reinforce that the process of reading just one was like eating a piece of dark chocolate that you didn't want to end. And I think that reading it slowly is absolutely imperative for us to have our own personal transformation. So thank you. I think it's going to help, Tom, honestly, a lot of people. I have people on my radar, and what I do, I want to share it with and get copies to them. So thank you. And good to see you, Lana, too.
Good to see you
Love
too,
you.
guys. Love you.
Thanks, Joanne. Good to see you, Blunt. Blunt got me into bike riding in Germany. We met them when we were stationed in Germany together.
It's my fault.
Yes.
And still a big part of his life today, so it's a good thing.
Same bike that you bought
That's
for
fantastic.
me. Yeah, helped me buy in Launchville.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
And Joanne, thank you so much for also taking the time. Joanne's quote is right here at the bottom of the first page. Have you seen the print copy yet? You may not.
Not yet.
They went out today, Joanne.
Okay. So she wrote, this is one of the most meaningful books I've read in years. Dr. Tom Hudson takes the reader on a journey to discover how to connect the deeper aspects of life to everyday living. He reminds us that life is meant to be lived fully and attuned to the beauty of each day. I highly recommend this book to anyone feeling stuck in the mundane. Treat yourself to 31 days of self-discovery that will transform your thinking and fill you with great joy. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
How about India?
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, Uncle Tom. Hi, Aunt Lana.
Hi, Indy.
I just wanted to reiterate pretty much what everybody else has said. I think it takes all of about 3 minutes of being around Uncle Tom to know that he's really special. And so speaking personally, but I know everybody else shares the same sentiment. We're all really proud of you, and I can't wait to buy a book and get through it myself. I'm really excited about it.
Thanks, Indy.
Hope we get to see you guys soon.
Harris? You gotta unmute yourself. Thank you, India.
Hi, my name's Karis, and I've known Tom a little less than 2 years. I met him after his mother died, and it's been a pleasure working with him. And when he mentioned that he was going to write this book or start writing down his thoughts, I told him it was a great idea because I work with grieving people every day, and sometimes they need a book that's going to bring them back to life instead of reading books that only focus on death and what happens after someone dies. So to have this inspirational book of there is hope, that you still can find passion in life, and that this can still inspire you to live a good, full life was a pleasure. Being able to read some of the copy or some of the posts that he did prior to putting it all together was definitely a pleasure. And I know someone spoke that they already have some people in mind when they think about this book. I have tons of people in mind that can feel inspired by his words, his passion, his love for life. So I'm very proud of him. And I find that when I read it, It's a transition from where I met him to where he is now. And he's done a lot of hard work to get where he is.
Thanks, Karis.
You. There's so many nice comments coming into which we'll read before we end, but we've got one more hand here raised. N Noble.
Hi, Tom, Lana, and family. It's Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
It's so nice to see everyone's faces. I just wanted to say hello and congratulations, and I'm really looking forward to reading your book.
Thanks. It's great to see you.
Yeah.
Nicole. We've got another someone iPhone. Go ahead, you're next. I don't hear you, but I see your mouth moving.
Can you hear me?
Now we can. Perfect.
This is Ingrid. I
Hi,
worked with
Ingrid.
Hi, Dr. Hudson. Hi, Lana. I've known these wonderful people for many years. I worked with Dr. Hudson, close to 30 years ago now, for the first time, and worked with Lana was so good to me. She helped me some physically. And those years that we worked with Dr. Hudson and had a Bible study were some of the richest years I had there. And we were always so excited when he was there to lead us. And he would write these devotional studies that we had, and we would get so excited, and we were all working, and we just pass it on down the line in the hallway. Dr. Hudson's here and he wrote another one, and they would just, but I have one story to tell. I was going through something pretty traumatic, and this is the only time he actually wrote one seemingly personal for me, and I loved it. And one of my friends that worked there said, "Let me see it." And so she read it and she said, "I'm taking this one. This is mine." And so I just laughed, and there were some suggestions in there of things to do. And she did everything that was suggested for me to do. She did it. So, and it worked out for her too. So anyway, we're all of us so proud of Dr. Hudson, and always loved him, and I've missed him, but kept in touch all these years. It was so good to see you and Lana both, and so proud of you, Dr. Hudson.
Thanks, Ingrid. Ingrid was the first one that told me I was going to write a book. She was so sure I was going to write a book, and she would collect all my writings and just, "Dr. Hudson's going to write a book. It's going to be called Life Lessons." And she called them Life Lessons. And the subtitle of this book for a little while was Life Lessons. Lessons from everyday life, something like that. But we changed it. But still, you were such a, I don't know, you were such an encourager. You just had the vision long before I did, And then when it became more of a reality, I thought of you. I thought, Ingrid knew this all those years ago. So anyway, I never forgot that.
Well, thank you, Dr. Hudson, for all you gave us willingly. You just gave us all something special there at NDIC.
Well, I want to say thank you, everybody. Tammy, we'll take you if you'd like to unmute, and then I wanted to just quickly show how you can purchase the book if you haven't done so yet, and then we will wrap it up. So thank you. Go ahead, Tammy. The floor is yours.
I wasn't going to say anything. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, perfect. I wasn't going to say anything, but I went through one of Dr. Hudson's classes and changed my perception and my awareness on a lot of things. So I just wanted to say congratulations, of course, and just echo what everyone else has said, but I can say that my life is richer because I know you. So thank you.
Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you, Tammy. Beautiful. So many beautiful souls on here tonight. Thank you so much for sticking with us for a whole hour. I can never believe how quickly all of this goes. So I'm just going to share really quickly that the book is available on Amazon here in paperback and Kindle. It's also available on Barnes & Noble, paperback and ebook if you have a Nook. And if you want the autograph copy, for those of you who may not have gotten one yet, you can pre-order and get an autograph copy if you go to Thomas Hudson, MD, and then you click on this right here and you check out. And then he's got the books at his home and he will sign it and ship it to you. So that's a very exciting, and I'm sure who will be a treasure to have for years to come. And we're really proud of this. Part of this whole process that Tom allowed us to take him through was completely rebranding an entire website. So he actually, if you haven't taken a look at this yet, I'm not going to show it right now, but you can do this later, is there's some really great videos that he did. He is a video star. He took to the video camera just like a fish to water. And so there's a great video here of him and his consultations that he does. And then if you scroll down a little bit more on the homepage, you can see there's a copy of Something Deeper. And then he has this part here that I invite you to put your first and last name in your email, and then he offers a free 7-day journaling guide. So he has this beautiful way of coaching people through writing. So if you enjoy his writing, it's his way of sort of teaching you how to also start your own spiritual writing practice, and you can get that for free on the homepage. And this video is about 1 minute long, and it explains exactly what it is and how he will help you through that. So we're so grateful that he was willing to let us take him from the editorial trenches to behind a bunch of bright lights for video, and we had a lot of fun along the way. So Tom, do you have anything you want to say in closing tonight?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot I could say, but one thing I definitely wanted to say was this whole process. I guess I'll end it kind of how I began it. Everybody should have one book launch in their life, even if they don't write a book. But it's honestly made me, and this will be hard to get out, but it's reconnecting with everybody and sitting and thinking, okay, who do I want to invite? And you see different times in your life and different circles, and going all the way back to like 5th grade, and to reconnect with everybody. I've said to a few people, it makes me this all makes me realize how rich my life has been. And that's about the best way I can put it. Because this is really it, these relationships. I mean, ultimately, that's kind of really where it's all at. And you go through life and you're busy and you get in new circles, and that's great too. But to sort of bring it all together like this, and to go so far back to people that have meant a lot to me at different times, and to kind of bring it all into the present, it's really just beautiful. And it just reminds me how rich my life has been. So thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you, everybody, for being a part of this tonight. We so appreciate you. The best way to support an author, and I'm always the one to say this because I think that when we go to weddings, we know what the etiquette is, right? How we dress, what kind of gifts we bring. There's a gift registry. There's a lot of life milestones that we're taught. But for authors, what's really exciting for them is to have people order their book, share the book. The best way to market a book is really through word of mouth. If you think about maybe the last 5 or 6 books you've read, it's probably because somebody said to you, oh, I just read this great book. You should read the book. And then you buy the book. And so for me, that's how I read as well, is just people that I know and trust and love. They share with me, I share with them. So if you can share this book and pass it on, give it as a gift. And then lastly, leave a review on Amazon, because that's how people who don't know Tom yet will come, and that brings that extra credibility to who is this book and why should I trust this book. So if you could go to Amazon and leave a review, be so grateful for that. Thank you again, all of you, for your time tonight, for being part of Tom's very rich, beautiful life. And we hope you really enjoy this book. And if you are on Instagram and you follow Thomas Hudson, in December, on December 1st, we're going to start a 31-day writing challenge. So great reading and writing, and no arithmetic. Not for me.
Yeah.
So thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Love you all. Thank you so much.
This was beautiful. Thank you, everybody.
And thanks for all the chats. I'm going to go back and reread all of those.
So many beautiful chats. Yes, thank you, everybody.